And 2 cases of the deadly hantavirus have been confirmed, and 5 are suspected among people who fell ill on a cruise ship being held in the Atlantic near Cape Verde, the World Health Organization, WHO. So among the 7 cases, 3 people have died, 1 was critically ill, and 3 have mild symptoms, the WHO said in a statement late on Monday.
2 years after winning a landslide and ending 14 years of Conservative rule, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing a tough stress test. His Labour Party on Thursday will battle local and devolved elections under mounting political pressure. Who Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain, what Champions League semi-final, second leg where Allianz Arena, Munich, Germany. When? Wednesday at 9 p.m, 19 GMT. How to follow. We'll have all the build-up on Al Jazeera Sport from 16 GMT in advance of our live text commentary stream. PSG head to Munich for the second leg of their semi-final against Bayern on Wednesday, defending a 5-4 lead from an incredible first meeting that was one of the greatest matches in the competition's history.
For the first time in its 46-year history, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has won the state of West Bengal, arguably the Hindu Nationalist Party's most consequential victory since 2014. The year Modi first came to power, the Legislative Assembly elections were held on several dates in April in West Bengal, 3 other Indian states, Tamil Nadu, Assam and Kerala, as well as in the federally governed territory of Puducherry.
And Moment Energy CEO Edward Chang believes as demand for power in North America is infinite and that his startup has the solution. The company, which has headquarters in Canada and the United States, takes a novel approach to repurposing electric vehicle batteries, Chang told TechCrunch. The company's approach is special, he said, because of its dual focus on safety and modularity. And the Ministry of Information Technology and Telecommunication, MoTT, has started work on developing a national open data ecosystem, nay, as part of efforts to strengthen Pakistan's digital economy, according to officials, and the planned system is intended to make government data more accessible and usable for citizens, businesses and researchers. By organising and sharing public data in a structured format, the project aims to support transparency, innovation and evidence-based decision-making across different sectors.
The Punjab government has approved the early disbursement of salaries, allowances and pensions for May 2026 ahead of Eid-ul-Adha. According to an official notification issued by the Finance Department Government of the Punjab, payments to government employees and pensioners belonging to the Muslim community will be released in advance on May 21, 2026.
The Senate Standing Committee on Science and Technology on Tuesday sharply criticised the country's testing and quality control system while the government pays private labs Rs 50 thou per test instead of reviving Pakistan's Standards and Quality Control Authority, PSQCA. During a meeting chaired by Senator Kamal Ali Agha, the Secretary for Science and Technology admitted that products cleared by PSQCA often require retesting abroad. Committee members questioned why public facilities exist if industries are forced to rely on expensive private testing.
Pakistan's star batter and former captain Babar Azam has once again inspired fans after sharing a nostalgic collage on social media that highlights his journey from humble beginnings to becoming one of the world's leading cricketers. The post, shared on his official Instagram account, featured a series of photographs showing Babar interacting with young cricketers and fans. The committee formed to investigate mismanagement and irregularities in Karachi's matric examinations has completed its report, with the findings reportedly leading to the resignation of Karachi Board Chairman Ghulam Hussain Soho. According to sources, Soho stepped down after the inquiry committee recommended his suspension and criminal proceedings through the Anti-Corruption Department. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Sohail Afridi on Tuesday announced a province-wide pen-down strike tomorrow, May 6, over the federal government's alleged discrimination against KP. In a statement, CM Afridi contended that the centre was discriminating against KP because the province has a government led by former Premier Imran Khan's PTI. Karachi, Ghulam Hussain Soho resigned as chairman of the Board of Secondary Education Karachi. It emerged on Tuesday following reports of irregularities and mismanagement at the board. He handed in his resignation late on Monday to the Secretary of the Universities and Boards Department, Abbas Balok, after learning that a committee report recommended his suspension as BSEK head.
Last year's military confrontation with India delighted us with something Pakistan rarely experiences: a unified national response. One voice and one direction from a collective will that held under pressure. We have the same reaction at a smaller scale during a cricket match against India, and then we watch as it dissolves. A pressing question lies behind this pattern. It is one I have asked for 10 years on my podcast and in private conversations. I have asked people from the corridors of power, the circles of military brass, the layers of our establishment and the captains of industry. I have asked 4 prime ministers, generals, CEOs. I have asked them all the same thing, on the record and off it: how do we fix Pakistan?
And Taiwan sports officials say one of their table tennis players has reported inappropriate physical contact during a security check while entering the venue at a major tournament in London. Taiwan's Ministry of Sport called for a safe environment for athletes in a statement on Tuesday.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has asked Pakistan to discontinue subsidies on petroleum products and end electricity subsidies as part of ongoing consultations for the 2026-27 federal budget. IMF representatives, during their initial virtual consultation with the Finance Division, said that fuel and electricity subsidies should not continue in the next fiscal year and that pricing adjustments recommended by regulators should be implemented without delay.
And Pakistan delivered a commanding performance to defeat Zimbabwe by 168 runs in the opening match of the 3-match women's ODI series at the National Bank Stadium. Chasing a daunting target of 331, Zimbabwe was bowled out for 162 in 36.4 overs as Pakistan's disciplined bowling attack kept the visitors under pressure throughout the innings.
The Pakistan Super League, PSL 11, emerging team of the tournament has been announced, highlighting a strong group of young players who made a significant impact throughout the competition. Leading the side is Samir Minhas from Islamabad United, who topped the list after scoring 349 runs at an impressive strike rate of 155.80.
Apple's upcoming iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max may feature a smaller dynamic island cutout. According to a new leak, a tipster on X claims to have received CAD files for the devices, possibly originating from a case manufacturer.
Jator has introduced the T2 PHEV in Pakistan, expanding its SUV lineup with a plug-in hybrid option aimed at buyers seeking a more advanced and fuel-efficient alternative. The launch follows the earlier display of the Jator T1 and T2 petrol variants in the country, with the new T2 PHEV positioned as a more technology-focused model within the brand's offerings.
In the frozen burial chambers of Mongolia's Altai Mountains, felt has survived longer than memory. Preserved in ice for over 2,000 years, the Pazyryk burials revealed wool hangings, animal forms and garments of striking detail. These objects show that felting was not only a practical craft, but also part of ritual and status. It carried meaning, skill and care. In Chitral, wool felting was practiced for generations, though it was not originally native to the region. It came from a wider nomadic Central Asian tradition, carried through movement and exchange, and gradually became part of local craft practices. closely tied to pastoral life, where herding animals and working with wool were part of everyday living. Felting was often a communal activity used in making rugs, garments, and household items shaped by the needs of the landscape and climate. How does Pakistan stack up against its South Asian neighbors on renewable energy adoption? Globally, renewable energy adoption has accelerated over the past decade, with SA players such as India and Bangladesh leading the charge.
And an unprecedented crisis is unfolding for 20,000 seafarers stranded in the Persian Gulf. A UN body has warned as the Strait of Hormuz closure leaves crews trapped on ships with no clear way out. As the stalemate in the Gulf drags on, maritime workers, many from poor developing countries, are finding themselves stranded at sea, caught between commercial pressure from ship owners, security threats from drones and sea mines, and limited legal protections.
Some human-to-human transmission may have occurred on board the cruise ship hit by a hantavirus outbreak that has left 3 people dead and several others ill, the World Health Organization said Tuesday. We do know that some of the cases had very close contact with each other, and certainly human-to-human transmission can't be ruled out, so as a precaution, this is what we are assuming. Dr. Maria van Kerkhove, WHO's Director for Epidemic and Pandemic Preparedness and Prevention, told reporters.
At least 5 people have been killed in Russian airstrikes on Ukrainian state-run gas facilities in the Poltava and Kharkiv regions, officials said, a day after Kyiv and Moscow announced unilateral ceasefires to take effect later this week. 3 employees and 2 rescue workers were killed, and 37 people were wounded in the overnight missile and drone barrage. Serhiy Koretsky, the CEO of Ukraine's state energy company Naftogaz, said on Tuesday. The United States Secret Service said it returned fire at a gunman near the White House, wounding him and briefly triggering a lockdown. An investigation has been launched by the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department following the shooting, which took place on Monday. The incident comes after an alleged assassination attempt on United States President Donald Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last month.
The United Nations Population Fund has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Pakistan in strengthening midwifery education and health systems, calling for urgent investment to address a critical shortage of skilled workers. The statement was issued on the occasion of the International Day of the Midwife, with UNFPA's Pakistan representative Dr. Louay Shabaneh stressing the importance of expanding midwifery services nationwide.
And Activision has confirmed that the next Call of Duty title will not be released on last-generation consoles. The update was shared through the official Call of Duty X account in response to rumors circulating online. The statement specifically confirmed that the upcoming game is not being developed for the PlayStation 4. While only the PS4 was mentioned, it is expected that the Xbox One will also be excluded.
Asus has introduced the ZenScreen OLED MQ16FC, a portable secondary display designed for users who need additional screen space while working away from a desk. The ZenScreen OLED MQ16FC features a 16-inch OLED panel with a resolution of 1920 x 1200. It uses a 16:10 aspect ratio, providing extra vertical space for tasks such as reading documents and working on spreadsheets.
Vivo is preparing to expand its V70 series with a new model, the V70 Lite 4G, which has now received certification from the FCC. The device, carrying model number V2604, has been listed with a battery rated at 7,920 mAh. This suggests it will likely be marketed with a typical capacity of 8,000 mAh or 8,100 mAh.
And Google's upcoming Pixel 11 lineup could be more expensive and may also see changes to memory configurations due to a global RAM shortage, according to recent leaks. Reports suggest the base model could drop from 12 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes of RAM, while Pro models may introduce 12 gigabyte variants below the current 16 gigabytes tier.